Now, we're going to stay in the great state of New South Wales for this next segment, but go further up and inland to the Upper Hunter Valley, which, as you know, is hosting a state by-election soon, which is going to focus on some pretty big federal issues when it comes to energy and climate policy. I caught up with the former Federal Resources Minister, Matt Canavan, just a few moments ago. Matt Canavan, good to talk to you again. The jobless figures today, again, encouraging news. The unemployment rate going down and job numbers going up.
Yeah, look, shows again the Liberal National Government here have managed the economy very well in trying circumstances through COVID. And the Labor Party keeps getting it wrong. They got it wrong on the economy 12 months ago when they were saying we weren't doing enough to help. And now they got it wrong in the last month by saying we should keep spending billions of dollars on a wage subsidy scheme when unemployment has dropped to a level that is really almost full employment. It's not full employment, but almost. I mean, this is no longer a recession or a depression in this country, and there's absolutely no justification to be spending billions of dollars a month of taxpayers' money, racking up more debt on subsidising people's wages. Now, that was Labor's policy, and it's just a little foretaste in what you'd get if Albo gets elected.
Now, you're in the Hunter today visiting a coal mine. There's that state by-election in the Upper Hunter electorate. It's a crucial by-election. It'll be watched around the country because it's focusing on this clash between the virtue signalling climate alarmists and the real economy of towns and people reliant on coal. You've got Labor candidates supporting coal mining. You've got the shooters, fishers and farmers doing the same, One Nation, and of course you're backing the Nationals candidate.
Yeah, look, this is the heartbeat of our country. Towns like Muswellbrook, where I am at the moment, and just been out to the Mount Pleasant mine. It's mines like these that I've been to today that have helped us pay for things like JobKeeper and keep everybody employed. It is mines like this that help support small businesses like BlackRock, where I am right now in the industrial estate here in Muswellbrook. And it's mines like this provide thousands of jobs, good, high-paying jobs. I was just out at Mount Pleasant talking to some blokes that have been in an Indigenous second chance program, guys that have been in jail looking for a second chance, and they're doing that through the mine and accumulating savings, going to get out of what was difficult circumstances for them with a hope and a future. And that is what the mining sector provides. And those people, Chris, those people that want to shut down mining here in the Hunter and all around the country want to deny those poor Indigenous people a job and an opportunity in the future. And that's why I get up out of bed and fight for this industry, because it provides real hope for real human beings.
Yeah, that's a fantastic scheme, it sounds like, and we hope to catch up with some more detail on that later in the program. But when it comes to the by-election, what about the Labor Party actually running a coal miner as a candidate? A strong message of support for coal mining in that electorate. It seems to run counter to everything they've been saying about climate and energy policy over the past decade.
Yeah, you're right. You're right to say, Chris, that every candidate, in the coming out of the woodworks here in the Hunter has suddenly discovered a love for coal. I'm just waiting for the Greens to pre-select a coal miner next week too. I think that's not far away, far around the corner. That'll be their only hope too. But I mean, I've seen Labor do this before, mate. They pick a coal miner in CQ and say, hey, look, don't look what's behind the curtain. He's the face for this election. I don't know their candidate from a bar of soap, but he's not going to be the one running coal policy for the Labor Party. The person running coal policy for the Labor Party will continue to be the Greens, whose preferences they rely on. It will continue to be Bob Brown and his likes. And people up here know that. They know that. And so they've got to have somebody that backs them and supports them the whole way through. You could see that today with John Barilaro, the leader of the Nationals, come out very strongly and say coal will be around forever. He's right. It will be around this region forever because this is such a high quality coal. There'll always be a use for it and a demand for it. Whereas you've got Chris Bowen, the energy spokesperson for the Labor Party today, saying that we've got to be honest, in his view, honest with coal miners and say they don't have a future and they're not going to have a job. There's two very clear, stark choices here in Upper Hunter about the future of the coal industry, and only one party, the Nationals Party, has got your back in backing your job in the Hunter.
Well, if there's inconsistency on the Labor side when it comes to these policies, it's there on the Liberal side too, the coalition side. The coalition government in New South Wales just a couple of weeks ago appointed Malcolm Turnbull as its climate and energy advisor. It's now scotched that appointment, but he was saying all mine expansions and new mines in the Upper Hunter ought to be quashed.
Yeah, look, I couldn't quite understand that decision, but that's why I always and am constantly reaffirmed in why it's important for the Nationals Party to exist. As I said, John Barilaro has always been a very, very strong supporter of the sector. He's the resources minister in government, and I think the people of Upper Hunter want somebody as their member who's in government, who can push their case, who can stand up for their jobs in the coal industry, but also in the agricultural industry, in the manufacturing industry. You know, we don't have here, we don't have in the Nationals Party a policy to transition jobs. We don't have a transition policy for the Hunter and Newcastle region. We've got a growth policy. We want to grow more jobs. We want to protect the jobs we've got in coal, but also have new jobs in manufacturing, in energy, and take the opportunities we've got here in this region to leverage off what is a great mining sector, what is a great ecosystem of mining services businesses in places like Muswellbrook, and grow and develop this region so that people and their children, their families can stay and live in this great part of the country.
Matt Canavan, thanks so much for joining us. It's a great part of the world. I was up that way last weekend. Of course, you've got all that mining and industry, but surrounded by the grazing lands and wonderful national parks.